Hi, so I have gotten the opportunity to test one of the most maxed out laptops in MSI's Creator series, namely the Z16HX that has been equipped with an Intel Core i9-13950HX, 64GB of RAM and a 2TB hard drive and an RTX 4070. Wow, all this comes in at a whopping $3,000 US. So is it worth it, and who should get it? First, let's start with what's good. The outside is, even though not quite Apple quality, really nice and also all metal. And even though the computer is housing gaming compatible components, it does look more like a, well, MacBook rather than an RGB Christmas tree, which is nice in my opinion. The keyboard is great, the addition of a numpad is lovely, and the touchpad is fine. Again, not Apple quality, but definitely towards the top of the Windows-based laptop touchpads. Port selection is about what you'd expect. On one side we find a charging port, an HDMI 2.1 port, and a Thunderbolt 4 compatible USB-C port, as well as a headphone jack. On the other side we have an SD card reader together with a classic USB-A port. Pretty neat. Performance is, like expected, great. The i9 CPU spits out a whole of 21,924 points in the multi-thread test in Cinebench, as well as 2,001 points in the single test. Definitely acceptable for a laptop, to say the least. And the same goes for gaming. I'm not a fanatic here of any sort, but GTA 5 on max settings in the screen's native 2560 by 1600 pixels runs on a smooth 50 to 60 FPS, while Fortnite, also on max settings and in the same screen resolution, stays well above 100 FPS at all times. Normal 4K editing is also perfectly snappy and smooth, however not with too many 4K clips on top of each other where it can stutter a tiny bit. The screen that both supports 100% of the DCI P3 scale as well as being Calman certified for the best possible color accuracy right out of the box is fantastic. It's no OLED, so a tiny bit of IPS glow is present, but it is indeed a very tiny bit. Other than that, the 1610 format with the 2560 x 1600 resolution and a 120Hz refresh rate hits all the right notes. At least it does for me. Definitely worth noticing is also that the screen is touch compatible, a nice addition for scrolling and zooming. Drawing directly on the screen though I find to be a little bit flimsy since the lack of any real back support, but if you need or want to, you can. Sweet. So what's not so good? Well, even though the computer is expected to have a certain weight considering the components on the inside, 2.35 kgs is both, well, impressive as well as a little heavy. And please, all Windows laptop maker companies, do something about the power adapters. This one weighs in at a ridiculous 1.024 kgs with all the cables included, resulting in a total carry weight on almost 3.5 kg with the whole computer and charger package. Battery life can't either be expected to be super impressive considering the components and the x64 architecture. However, I do feel that 4, maybe 5 hours at tops is still a slim result even when operating on power saver mode and all that. And even though I experience no throttling and thus can argue that the cooling does its job, the computer gets really toasty during max load. In the multi-thread test in Cinebench, the speaker grill at the top got so warm I could only hold my hand there for about a few seconds before it simply got too hot. Sure, running Cinebench is probably not what most people will do all day, but still. Also, on a good note here, while in power save mode and during lighter workloads, the fans on the computer are relatively quiet and sometimes they turn completely off. However, once you activate the more power hungry profile in MSI Center, the computer gets loud. Listen to this. Something to note here though is that the cooling for the graphics card for some reason seems to have a slightly nicer fan curve. At least I was never able to make the computer sound like this during gaming, which I guess is a plus. So to sum this not so in-depth but more of a general usage review of the MSI Creator Z16HX, I'd say it's indeed a powerful computer. Also, if you don't want to spend the whole $3,000, you can save quite a lot of money by speccing it down if you don't really need all that RAM and graphics power, etc., while still maintaining the great screen and build quality. However, the portability with the power adapter included in the carry weight is not great, although for the person that really knows exactly what they want and are willing to compromise somewhat with fan noise and portability, the Z16HX is definitely worth to take a look at. However, also be sure to check out the competition before making a purchase, because there are other companies offering similar products within roughly the same price point. And that is about my take on the Z16HX. Please share any questions in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, bye!